Forget all you know about podcasts. We welcome you to an experience uniquely different. Please join us for our coverage of all entertainment on the fringe of society. The candles are lit, the lights are down low. It is now time to welcome our host as he steps up to the pulpit. The sacrifice has been prepared for the midnight black mass.
Lovely greetings, groovy ghoulies, and welcome to the return of the Midnight Black Mass podcast. I am your host, the Nautical Minister of the Occult, the Rev. Dan the Dragon Wilson, here for another edition of the program on the Beyond Ringside Radio Network. My tag team partners on the line. We are the world's six-man champions of podcasting. First, he is the Southeastern Strangler, the one-man hairband, the Mouse of Hell. I don't know, there's probably more nicknames that he used somewhere along the line, but I can't fucking remember them. Andrew Alexander, how are you?
The one-man gangbang.
That's the new name.
Let's stick with that's a good one. I like that one. That's a keeper. I'm doing good. Man. We are the six-man tag team champions of podcasting, but we do not have title belts.
Nah. Like everything else in podcasts, the title belts exist on the internet. And the third member of this trio, he competes in an event that he made famous, in my opinion, this coming Saturday in the palatial haven of Iron City, Tennessee. That's the 2017 Carnage Cup Deathmatch Tournament. Ladies and gentlemen, the Strong Style Psycho Tank.
What's up, mofos? Been a while since we've had this little gathering and discussion of wrestling and pop culture. So what the fuck are we going to talk about?
Well, that's a good question, because we're going on an improv basis. We all been busy cats lately, so it's been kind of hard to nail this down. So we're just going to freeform it tonight. I know real quick right off the bat, just mentioned it. Tank, one of the only wrestlers I've ever known who could win the first ever one of these tournaments and simultaneously chase the promoter into the bushes and make him hide to get his money, and then get his money, and end up being brought back multiple times over the years, including a highly publicized return on his farewell tour. You got some big old balls, Pally.
Oh, yeah. Well, actually, the first show was the one that got shut down. I didn't win that one. Then they did a reboot show a couple months later, and I won it. And yeah, it was that show was in Childersburg, Alabama, and this kid got cut up pretty good, and they called the police and an ambulance, and they came in and saw the show. You know, there was a bunch of kids there. I don't guess they were expecting the violence and the blood, and people freaked out. And yes, I was looking for my money, and I found that son-of-a-bitch hiding in the bushes. And I got my money. And the whole thing about it was like he didn't owe me any more money, but I told him that he did, and he paid it to me. So he paid me like double. And I got home, and Bill Barron said, "You need to send that guy the money back." And I was like, "Nope, not going to do it." So Bill Barron, out of his own money, sent this son-of-a-bitch the money back.
Wow. Raw, folks, Raw. There's Raw on TV, and you should be watching it because there's a lot of good wrestlers on there. But you can mute that shit and put us on and multitask. I'm telling you, and you're going to get some legit raw stories apparently tonight because Tank's already set the table. Andrew Alexander, have you ever been to a Carnage Cup?
Yeah, I think I went to one.
Yeah,
And,
you did. We all went together.
Yeah, I saw it there.
What is, what just like as a guy who's not really accustomed to that world. Now, let me put this out there: a guy, unlike a lot of guys, didn't get into professional wrestling thinking he wasn't going to have to bleed. Andrew Alexander, the time comes, he's damn had a bloodbath or two, but deathmatch wrestling is a whole other world for you entirely. So, kind of tell me about the impression that something like that left on you.
Oh man, it's insane, man. It takes a special type of person to do that stuff. I mean, when you have maybe if you have a death match or some sort of hardcore match or a street fight or anything like that, you have one on a show. But man, you go to a show like this and it's bell to bell from start to finish death matches. They may have a special attraction match in there somewhere where it's not a death match, but for the most part, it's just all blood and gore and violence all night long. It's insane. It's definitely something to see. Even if you just want to see it once, just to experience it, even if you're not a fan of it. But it's hard not to be a fan of. I mean, it's different. It's not like I would want to watch it for a good story, but I mean, everybody likes a good car crash. I mean, everybody likes to just see people fucking each other up and violence and blood and hurting each other. I mean, sometimes it can get a little uncomfortable to watch, especially watching Tank. Somebody I know. It's a little different than just somebody you're not familiar with. But I would recommend people go because these guys, they don't fuck around. They damn near kill each other. Hence the term death match.
And nobody's delivered on the promise yet, at least in an advertised death match. Now, there's definitely been some matches where guys died, but surprisingly not actually in a death match despite its reputation. Tank, your thoughts?
I get asked all the time, about being a deathmatch wrestler. I've always considered myself a wrestler who just happened to do death matches. I don't label myself as a deathmatch wrestler because, except for flying off the top rope or doing high spots, I can pretty much do anything else out there. So, kind of like a hybrid or whatever. But as far as people who have never seen it, it's a shock value for them, and they always get over. I know a lot of people shit on them, but the people that come always enjoy themselves. And people who have never been always come back. So that's what I got to say about death matches and death match tournaments.
Guys, I have a really conflicting opinion on them because, damn it, I love watching them. I mean, I do, and I love calling them. And I think as long as, it's clearly advertised as such that, this is a niche. So, and I'm not the biggest fan of your modern super indie style stuff, but that's a huge niche right now. It's popular. So, I mean, in terms of the physics of professional wrestling and whether one thing is harmful to the business and yada, 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 they've got as much of a right to exist as that stuff does. And it's much more appealing to me as a viewer because of just the insanity. You got a lot of good wrestlers in there. Guys who made kind of a reputation as deathmatch guys, good workers. Matt Tremont, fucking awesome. Necro Butcher, not a great worker in the traditional sense, but he just had that aura and was great in and of his own right. Yourself, you're, like you said, you're not actually a deathmatch wrestler. You can do a lot of things. I think it just makes you more versatile and valuable that's part of your repertoire. But, there's been plenty of great wrestlers that do that on the opposite spectrum, of course, because of what it is. I hate to say it's not wrestling, but it's not wrestling that you're selling to the general audience. If you put wrestling on a poster and a guy brings their family, like you mentioned, and they come up and it's a deathmatch tournament, well, likelihood is they're going to be extremely turned off. But, if you clearly identify what you're doing, I don't think it harms the wrestling business. And it's quite a spectacle. The great Jeff G. Bailey has been a long-time fan of the deathmatch scene back to really, in its infancy and when it first started. And he's so hyped for the Carnage Cup that he is riding down with us. He is driving 3 hours from where he lives in Metro Atlanta to my house in Chattanooga, staying the night on Friday, and then we're going to get up and meet up with Tank early ass in the morning to drive 3/4 of the way to fucking Memphis. And, Bailey's excited. He's never seen a deathmatch tournament live and in person. So this is going to be a treat.
If you can get Bailey to leave his little island, that's an event in itself.
Word.
Yeah, he had texted me, want to know if he could ride, and I go, well, fuck yeah. I've never been on a road trip with Bailey, so it'll be a good time. It'll be worth it just for that. If I go and
what city?
Get to bed.
What city is it in?
Iron City, Tennessee. Never fucking heard of it.
And it's at a taco shack in the parking lot.
Wow.
Yeah, man, Kevin,
why y'all leaving so early? What time does it start?
Noon.
What the fuck?
He's wanting to do a fucking full 16-man tournament in one day, in one afternoon.
Oh my God!
He has to start that shit at noon, and it'll probably run till about 6, 7 o'clock, and then we got to fucking drive home. But it'll be fun,
6 or 7 o'clock, my ass. You're gonna be there till fucking midnight.
Yep.
Dude, I wouldn't be fucking shocked at all. I saw that they had the time blocked, like the Facebook event was from noon to 8 p.m. So I would almost bet my left nut, like any wrestling promoter, they're underestimating the length of their event. So, and like a lot of wrestlers underestimating the length of something else. Oh.
Ooh.
What time are y'all leaving?
Like 8.
We gotta leave. Yeah, we gotta leave Chattanooga about 8 o'clock. They're an hour behind us, so we'll actually gain an hour. So coming home's gonna suck balls. But
yeah.
It'll be fun, man. And then the following weekend, I fly to New Jersey for another deathmatch tournament, and so yeah, I'll be one beat up some bit. So I get a couple weeks off after these two back to back. I'm gonna take. So now I got a show next Monday. Fuck. Well, 3 shows, then I'm gonna get a couple of weeks back to back.
Man, you're gonna be worn out. It's a good thing you're gonna retire for 6 months pretty soon.
God damn it! No shit.
I didn't know if y'all caught that or not.
I caught that.
I caught it. So yeah, check out the Carnage Cup. I think their only social media presence is on Facebook. That it's always been a crazy event. Like, I've had some damn crazy experiences at the Carnage Cups over the years. Glad to be coming back to do commentary. I remember at one Carnage Cup event, we saw Ace Rockwell choke out a fan. Does anybody remember that?
Was that a Carnage Cup?
Yes.
Oh, I was there. Okay, well, I've been to 2. I worked on one, and I went to watch Tank beat somebody up.
Well, no, wasn't that some kind of the Stiff and Spotty tournament or some shit?
Oh, maybe it was. It was an IWA Deep South show. Most of them were Carnage Cups, but there might have been some that weren't. But okay,
hey,
but still, same promotion. It's worth talking about.
I'll tell y'all a story about that show. It was pretty funny. Okay, so I get there, and it's my first time working for that guy. And he's like, "Are you stiff and spotty?" I said, "Yes, sir." Lying right to his fucking face because I'm neither stiff nor spotty. I said, "Yes, sir." And he goes, "Okay, just make it stiff and spotty." And we worked a tag match, and it was me and Andrew Pendleton against Gans. I want to say Lightning and Gans. They are borderline spotty, but me and Pendleton are certainly not. So we're waiting, and Tyler Smith, former technician, former regular guy, he comes up with somebody just to watch. So I tell the guy, this is what you do for guys. I tell him, I say, "Hey, man, if somebody doesn't show up, that guy right there is pretty good." Talking about Tyler Smith, who could be stiff and could somewhat be spotty. So he says, he doesn't even hesitate. He says, is he better than you? And I said, "Well, I don't think so." And he goes, "Well, is he stiffer and spottier?" And I said, "Oh, no, not at all." Which, again, was a total lie because he was definitely stiffer and spottier. But that some bitch was going to give him my spot. like what the? I was like, what the? And then what's funnier in the story? I mean, I'm not kissing my own ass here. This is just true. So it was Pendleton didn't get there. Pendleton got there literally the match before ours. We had no time to put together anything. A requirement of a match being spotty. Literally no time. He's getting dressed like he's putting shit on when the music's playing. It was one of those situations. We go up there and we do, maybe a little more than we normally would. But then later on, that guy tells us, like, our match was his favorite match of the night, and he loved it, and all this shit, blah, blah, blah. And I just found that hilarious because I literally don't think we called anything but the finish.
Yeah, so Ace Rockwell, and then Fast Eddie Layne has a contribution he wants to make here in a second, but I do have to tell the story about Ace Rockwell choking out the fan. So there's this guy there. I don't know if you guys remember this, so you can maybe help fill in the details because I'm a big picture guy. Fuck. I fucking popped myself on that and probably nobody else. So this guy acts like a fucking idiot in the crowd all night long, just drawing attention to himself, just being just over the top, just ridiculous. And he's this big redneck fucker. And, there's very little in the way of regulation or barricades or security at these IWA events. The Wild West is an appropriate term, and so, all the fun and sometimes some of the negative comes along with that. And so this guy got in the fucking ring during intermission. Nobody stopped him, and he just walked over, and like I said, there's little to no security at these things. I walked over and grabbed the mic right off the table and walked right in the fucking ring and said wrestling's fucking fake bullshit and these guys are all fucking pussies and I could whip all of them. And I remember we were in the back and fucking Ace, like, were any of you there to, like, hear him responding to the guy, like, saying, okay, I'm going to go out there before he actually did?
I saw it. Yeah, I heard it.
Okay, yeah. Okay, give me details.
Yeah, he says, he starts asking people, he's like, "Hey, man, is that guy part of the show?" And we're all kind of shrugging, and, a lot of us weren't from around there. We're like, "No, I don't think so." And then he's asking, I'm pretty sure the promoter, he's like, is that guy, is this supposed to happen? Is that part of the show? And he goes, "No." And he's like, "Well, I'm going to go kick his ass." And the guy goes, "Go ahead." So sure enough, and I'm sitting there thinking, and we all know Ace Rockwell. I'm literally sitting there thinking, that motherfucker ain't going to the ring. And he didn't. He made me look like a fool in like 5 seconds because he just walks to the ring like it's nothing and jumps in there. And I'm like, holy shit. So we all start watching. And back to you, Dan.
I've never been more proud of Ace in my entire career, or in his entire career, should I say. Fuck, man. like nobody expected. This dude was big too. I mean, he was a big fat fucking slob that probably, didn't even know a guy named Jim, much less had ever been in one. But he fucking he was big. He was like 6'4". He fucking towered over Ace, and so the guy's like, "Oh, I'm an MMA fighter." Like he starts talking shit to Ace when he gets in the ring. I'm a fucking cage fighter. I'm a shoot fighter. I'm gonna whip your fucking ass. And he's like, "All right." And they fucking tussle around for a minute. Anybody going to have anything to add there before I go to the finish?
I wasn't there, but I've always heard the story. Go ahead.
Okay. So Ace puts this motherfucker in a front face lock in the fucking ring in front of the entire crowd. Like, probably a lawsuit waiting to happen, but not in the wilds of Alabama. He fucking chokes this guy out, fucking colder than a fucking cucumber with a front chancery, sugar hold. And he made the business proud that night. He definitely stood up for the respect of wrestling, and if there was a fucking old timer in the house, they'd have been patting him on the back.
What he told
he told the dude something. Yeah, he told the dude something about like tap out or pass out or something. He was like talking shit to him. The guy fought it for a second, and Ace was just like calm as hell, like, "Hey, dude, you're not going anywhere. I've got you." And he finally just taps out and just. I think he lets him go, and the guy just stands up and just leaves the ring and disappears. He was probably embarrassed as fuck.
I mean, he had to have 50 pounds on Ace, but that didn't stop him from getting his ass whipped right there in front of everybody.
Oh, 50, if not more. I mean, honestly, it could have 75 at least. Yeah, it was it was pretty entertaining. A little bonus match, but yeah, you're right, man. The guy just got in the ring like it was nothing. He just walked up and jumped in there, and no one did a damn thing.
Which is pretty frightening. Now, luckily those IWA shows and the deathmatch tournaments, he's typically like catering to a smarkier audience. Yeah, there are smart Mark fans in the hills of Alabama. Believe it or not. I mean, hell, I say that, but like, fuck. The most famous smart mark on the planet right now is that fucking Conrad dude, who does a good job on those, Bruce Pritchard and assorted other podcasts that he's involved in, Tony Schiavone. He's I guess a smart mark from the wilds of Alabama. But, I mean, he's probably from, like, Huntsville, Birmingham, the nicer area. We're talking the deep woods here.
Oh yeah, we were in some part of Alabama. It's so behind the times you can't even get AIDS there yet. Like it was the middle of nowhere. It was probably where fucking Fast Eddie lives.
Fast Eddie Layne.
You rang.
I can't think of a better segue for you to give your contribution to the IWA lore and legend and find out why you need to be at the Carnage Cup.
Oh, first off, I'll tell you something. Folks, if you've never experienced a deathmatch environment, I will tell you this. I have worked with IWA Deep South with Carnage Cup for a number of shows. I was there for Elkmont. I was there for the other North Alabama show indoor that was threatened to be shut down. I was in Childersburg where I believe it was Big James who was taken off in an ambulance, as well as Danny Havoc, who was with medical attention because his back was destroyed that night. And Tank, you and I have worked together on a couple of these, including the one up in Tullahoma at the SWF Arena.
Okay, yeah, that was like 2 or 3 years ago. I worked Tremont. That was good times.
Carnage Cup 9, and that was also, if I remember correctly, Carnage Cup 9 was where Boudreaux and Rare did Saw 3.
Yeah.
Yeah, because Brandon had me.
That was a show.
Go ahead.
That was a show where John Wayne Murdoch got his arm sliced open.
Right. Right.
And they stop the match, and we go. They're all in the back, and he's wanting to go back out there, and his dad's all like, no. And you can hear me on the video say, quit, like, don't be a pussy, just tape it up and go. His dad's like, don't encourage him.
Yeah. What gives a lot of situations in play when it comes to the ultra-violent, the death matches, you've got two decidedly different groups of people who take place in these things. You have those who've never been trained and have not worked a real match. And then you have those who know what the hell they're doing and can work a real match as well as work the ultra-violent, the hardcore style. And it's the ones who were doing, and we all four know people who do this and have never been trained, but they just love the idea of working a weapons match in a wrestling ring and being able to break stuff. And that's one of the things, especially down here in Alabama, because Brandon Owens, the director of the Alabama Athletic Commission, went to the man who runs, and I've already called his name, so it's not breaking curtain, the person who runs IWA Deep South, and said, "You're not doing this here. Too many weapons involved." Of course, this is the same athletic commission that said to LXW owner, same person, that he couldn't do a toy battle royal because somebody could have gotten hurt on the Legos. I'm not kidding. Thank you, Brandon, for screwing us up. But, I've worked with a couple of different shows that IWA Deep South has done, and I've had a blast every time. Of course, one of my favorite things of all time is Faces of Death 1, 2, and 3, but that's a different animal. When people know what they're doing in a weapons match, in an ultra-violent match, it is fun to watch. And it is an experience that I say it's not for everybody. But for those who want to check it out, find one like this weekend where you have got real professionals going at it. That's the easy way that I can say it. Strap yourself in, grab your popcorn, watch out for the nachos because they will go flying. Just ask Nathan Hamilton.
Who will be my broadcast colleague that night.
Yeah.
Who I've only, chatted with a little bit on Facebook. We have a lot of mutual interests and stuff, so I'm looking forward to calling the matches with him and getting to meet him. I've had some of my best wrestling memories on those trips. We did a 2-night deal for them one night where it was like a double shot weekend, so we ended up, staying over the Friday night, and they got us a hotel and everything. And me and Sean Tempers ended up rooming with Tracy Smothers. And that was pretty fucking amazing. Andrew, were you on that trip?
Yeah, wasn't I think that was the Ace Rockwell choking out the guy trip.
I think it was the same one. It might have been.
Yeah, I feel that it was.
That was.
Wasn't that the show where wasn't Elgin on the show and said he could drink like 400 beers in one sitting?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They told me that.
We went to this. You go ahead.
I was going to say, my take on doing death matches is, they'll hit me up and be like, you want to do this? And I'll be like, sure. Who do you want me to work with? And they'll give me a list of names. I'm not just going to go in there with some guy who's just some, yarder I can just go in and beat the fuck out of. That's no fun. I want to go out there and show my craft, and it's just not beating up a backyard kid who's ever been trained, because more than likely I'll be the one that gets fucked up and get hurt.
Goddamn, you don't want to go through that shit again. You were the fucking enemy of the internet for a whole fucking 3 months there, when you fucked up Mike Levy in a death match in IW Mid-South.
Oh, yeah.
So, now they love you. You see, you hung around long enough that you became their hero instead of the villain. But, just great memories. Like, Kevin he's a character. He's one of the more interesting guys. You just like, wow. I don't think I've ever seen a promoter that sits in the front row and chants during the matches. So it's like, great if you can be that big of a fan, I guess. I just found it strange. And he comes up with some crazy shit. But, he's always kept his word to me on on everything. So, I can't, like, a lot of people get shit talk the guy. I understand. And, we're kind of razzing him here, but to his credit, like, everything he's ever promised me was legit. So, gotta throw that out there. And I look forward to another story to tell after this weekend. Hopefully it's a good one.
There will be.
And not somebody got, horrendously mutilated story.
That's the only thing that's the only truly thing I'm worried about is Rare and Boudreaux doing this Saul shit series and how they're going to top each, cutting a finger off or some shit. If they do some shit like that, I'm just going to pack my shit and leave.
Were you there?
That'll freak me the fuck out.
Tank, were you there for Saw 3?
No, I think that was done on Sunday. I didn't come back to the second night.
Okay, because yeah. I believe the appropriate phrase in a close enough intonation pattern for him. Man, there's some sick SOBs.
So how many matches are we talking here? 16-man tournament. What is that? That's 8, 12. What is that, 15 matches?
I think it's 15.
I think they're going to do 8 first round. The semis are 2 4-ways, and then the finals will be a 1-on-1. And then I'm sure then they got that Boudreaux and Rare deal. And I don't know if he's got any other non-tournament matches or not.
Give me 5 minutes. We'll have a 17-man lucha scramble. That's it. Okay.
Yeah.
You ever notice how close?
Yeah, you're gonna be there till about midnight.
Yeah. You ever notice how close his voice is to Hank Hill?
Oh yeah.
Damn it, Bobby.
That's fucking Boomhauer, man.
Yeah. It was he did this Deathmatch Mafia show in Pigeon Forge back in October, and I wrestled Chewy Martinez in the fucking semifinals, and he came up and was like, I want it stiff, brother. I want it stiff. He went and told him the same thing. He wanted it stiff. He wanted it stiff. And we went out there and worked light as hell. He got in the back, and he was like, God damn, that was the stiffest fucking match I've ever seen. I was like, yep, I did my job right.
Oh, Lordy. So, yeah, out of your deep south, Carnage Cup. Check it out. A lot of great talent coming in for this thing. Schlack, Matt Tremont, Tank, Brad Cash, Marcus Crane. Who else we got that's worth seeing there?
I'm wrestling Jeff Cannonball. He's like one of Tremont's understudies, I guess you could say. They say he's pretty good. I've watched a video of him. He's just like a younger version of myself, so that should be a pretty good little match there. And I know Chewy's in it. Freak Show. He's got some kind of a match.
Freak Show. Oh, my God, I love Freak Show. Now, we might have told this story on the podcast, but we have to tell the Freak Show promo story right now.
Now he cut that goddamn promo?
Yes.
Yeah, he was, man, we were all sitting back there. They just wanted him to cut a little promo about just whose ass he was going to whip. It took him like 15 times. And he finally came out with one that said, I'm going to light a pack of cigarettes and I'm going to put them out in your ass. And we were like, okay, that's it. We're good. Mike Burns is like, that's the best promo ever.
And I'm bringing hell and fucking demons with me.
It was awesome.
Oh, man.
What's ticket prices for this deathmatch tournament?
Oh, fuck if I know.
I have no idea. Probably $20. He's got some kind of VIP shit where I think you might actually get a chair because they keep saying to bring your own chairs. So I got mine packed up, ready to go.
For VIP experience, Tank will bleed in your mouth. Well, I'm telling you, if this is a $20 ticket, I'm telling fans, it's worth it. I mean, that's some quality entertainment for $20 fucking dollars.
So it's going to be insane.
Yeah.
It's going to be insane. But you can find out more info on the old Facebook. Just type in Carnage Cup 2017. The page will come right up.
VIP passes are $60 a piece, and those are in limited supply. General admission at the gate, $35.
Damn.
$35.
Well, I don't know. That's a little steep. Hey, I'm honest with our listeners. I don't have any dog in this race. I don't get no cut from this. $35 steep. $60? No, that's fucking crazy. I'll bring my own seat.
Oh, fuck. So, Andrew, what the fuck have you been up to? You're such a man of mystery.
Shit, I ain't no man of mystery.
So you just appear? Yeah, well, what I've been doing shows, and I'm going to talk about some of that here in a second before we run out of time. We know Tank's been busy. What have you been doing? What have you been doing with your life? What do you want to do with your life?
I want to rock. That's what I want to do. But, man, I haven't been doing nothing, man. I got an invite to do a wrestling-related project, and I just instantly had to shut that shit down. I don't know, man. I still love it. I still love the business. I still love talking about it with people, but I just don't feel the need to give no more time to it, you know?
Damn shame.
I mean, I get guys not wanting to give it up and keep doing stuff and staying active, and like you and Tank, y'all got stuff to give and shit, so that's all good, but it just don't appeal to me, man. I love not having to be somewhere on a Friday night, a Saturday night. I don't have to leave at 8 o'clock in the morning and drive 3 hours to the deathmatch tournament, you know?
Well, hell, I'm not giving up on you. I'm going to keep chipping away until I browbeat your ass into coming back to work with me.
I did go to the NXT house show in Atlanta a couple weeks ago, and me and Kyle Matthews, little Hollywood Brunettes reunion, sitting in the crowd in the VIP section, if you can call it that, at center stage, but ran into one Rick Michaels, had a nice little conversation with him. Good time.
Nice, yeah. How was that show?
Oh, man, that show was really good. I really wasn't expecting a lot, especially because I thought a lot of the guys that got called up to the main roster wouldn't be there, but I was wrong. They all were. And, me and Tank went to the one at the end of last year. I think, I don't remember when it was, but hell, it might have been in the middle of last year. But we went, and that show was really damn good. And the match with the Revival and American Alpha was better than anything on this show. But I think this show 2 weeks ago was actually better than the one me and Tank saw. Those guys work hard, man. They put on a damn good show. Because you can see a lot of guys phoning it in at a smaller house show like that. But I didn't see anybody on that card doing that.
I don't think they're allowed to phone it in because everybody's there. You know what I'm saying? Regal's there, Matt Bloom. And there's probably like, if they catch them kind of fucking off, they'll just, hey, ain't going to do nothing really to them. Just kind of say, hey, you can't do that shit until you get to work out shows in Chattanooga.
Yeah, there was some gaga going on, but it was all entertaining and shit like that. It was quality. if you work in that system, you gotta have something to offer. They're not investing that much time and putting guys out on the road like that without having something. So, good talent all around. It was good time. Just kind of hanging out, enjoying some wrestling. But it was good to see. I bumped into some other people. Didn't really talk to them as much, but it was good to talk to Rick. Haven't seen him in a while.
Since the last time we had our show, the Revival debuted on Raw, and since then, Dash Wilder got his jaw broken, so he's on the shelf for a couple of months. Hope that don't hurt him. They come in with a big splash and beat New Day 2 weeks in a row, and then he gets injured. Like I said, I just hope that don't really hold him back any. I don't think it will, but you never can tell.
The pitfalls of corporate wrestling, man. In the 80s, he would have just fucking wired that motherfucker up and kept on trucking. I mean, probably not the smartest thing to do in terms of your long-term health, but just like that's a testament to how much the business has changed. Because they won't let you fucking hurt, period.
No.
And the old school mentality is like, oh fuck, if I can still work, we can get around it. Fuck, why not? Like, and so it sucks because it could hurt their momentum, but I hopefully not. I don't think so. They clearly had plans for them. I don't see a slight delay in those plans. Fucking anything up, but as a booker, I know how hard it is when a piece of the puzzle is in play and it comes off the board. You got to find an opening to get it back into the board, and it's a little fucking tricky sometimes. So, but a team that good, talent overrides everything, and obviously you're going to find a spot for guys that are that good. So
I think in the long run, they're fine because that shit. I mean, who does that not happen to? You're on a roll, and boom, you get hit with an injury.
That seems to happen to everybody on their fucking roster nowadays. But
yeah. So they're going to be fine, man. They're way too talented not to be. Speaking of the big WWE, what about Jinder Mahal? He was up in
holy shit. Yeah, like what the hell? Like this. Go ahead, Tank.
That was kind of my thoughts on that, because if you follow Twitter and part of the wrestling Twitter, everybody's all about it. I just remember him being a fucking shitbird in 3MB. He does look great. Don't get me wrong. He looks great. But as far as his work, I hadn't watched him on SmackDown or Raw. I know he was one of the last two in that Battle Royal. But as far as watching him wrestle, I haven't seen him wrestle since he's been back. And maybe,
I dug it.
I feel like they're just trying to give, just people want different shit, so they're giving them something different. So I ain't got a problem with that.
No, I mean, he looked like a star. He had a good promo. I've heard all this Twitter buzz for weeks. I'm like, what the fuck ever? Because those guys will get on anybody's dick sometimes just to get on it. And other times, very, good at spotting up-and-coming talent, don't get me wrong, but, there's there's an ebb and flow to that, so I didn't really know what to think. I'd seen him in the mid-card, and like, I got him himself in great shape, that's crazy, but, the more they started elevating him, the more he looked like he belonged, and, he came out there with a good gimmick, and a good promo, and it looks like they've got the Bollywood boys now as like his little stooges. So, they've got like this package. He got this great, the best version of what I thought was like the modern heel promo of the Foreign Menace heel, because he had to kind of PC it up, and it's hard to do that when you're trying to do that gimmick. But you just made some great points, it's like, oh, I speak 2 languages. How many, languages do you people speak? I'm educated and blah, blah, blah. And, just really, he played the Foreign Menace angle, but with a modern take on it, because he couldn't say, America suck, USA haku, India #1. He couldn't do that anymore. That's not considered acceptable anymore in wrestling. But the way he did play it worked out like a charm. I mean, I think they ought to just go ahead and if they're going to commit to trying to push the guy, go ahead and put the fucking belt on him. But I don't think that's going to happen. But even still, it's a low risk type of thing. Like, okay, we got this guy who's getting a little traction. Put him in this title match, see how he does. You know, it's low risk because it's not like it's a SummerSlam. You know, it's an off major pay-per-view. So if he goes and does a good job, then you might have made a star. And if he doesn't, then you don't really lose a lot.
Yeah, I agree.
Exactly.
I agree with what you said. I thought the promo was really good. Just overall, I mean, it was just a really surprise coming out of nowhere. I mean, it's not the best booking overall because they don't have a strong win-loss record going into it. But you just sometimes got to take a chance, and they don't do that a lot to where it's just like, boom, let's try something. And I really think, I mean, I'm just kind of calling this, that if he does well in the match with Orton, which is a guy that you should have a good, solid match with, if he does well and he delivers, I could see him doing a rematch and him getting the belt. I really could. Just shake things up, do something new, try to create somebody. This is very similar. I remember when JBL became JBL, and I instantly was like, well, you know, sometimes the champ has to have people that they're just going to beat, you know, that they're not going to drop the belt to get a run. And I was like, well, there's no chance this guy's getting the title. And then, boom, he took off and longest reigning champ in SmackDown history. I think that could be kind of a similar deal here. It's just up to Jinder now. He cannot be one of these guys that goes online and says, they held me back. They didn't give me a shot. The motherfucker's got a shot. It's up to him.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
They're going to give him the cake. He's going to have to eat that motherfucker.
Well, he ain't eating no fucking cake, man. Look at.
No, that motherfucker's eating goddamn tuna. He's eating turkey
dedication.
burgers and broccoli for breakfast.
Yeah, that's another thing, man. How are you gonna? That's a bad. That you're just setting a bad example. If you see a guy that is busting his ass that hardcore, and he's got to be clean, man. He has to be, because the way they test, there's no way he's dumb enough to think I can do this and cheat the system.
And not get popped.
To look like that clean, that is some fucking hard work, and it deserves a reward. It just truly does. So he's got an opportunity. I really do hope he does well with it. I mean, there's nothing. He doesn't do a lot of the indie style stuff that is really over right now, but I mean, he could have. I don't see that he couldn't pull off a big main event match with a lot of different guys. So it's going to be very interesting to see. I am excited about the match.
I mean, if you can't have a good match with Randy Orton, come on. I mean, you know, that guy, I think he kind of gets overlooked sometimes because he's been there. You know, like you just expect, oh, it's Randy Orton, and he's going to have a great match again because he always does. Like, but he's one of the fucking best guys they have. He's so good.
Is that match this week? Is that Payback or whatever? Or is
no, it's going to be at Backlash. Orton's actually working Wyatt, I guess, because there's probably some changes with putting Wyatt on Raw, which is fine. But it seems they're doing a rematch. It may not even be for the title now, it seems. But then at Backlash, which is in probably maybe 2-3 weeks after that, is when it's Jinder versus Orton.
Oh, okay. Got my pay-per-view names flip-flopped. Gotcha.
I was going to bring something up. I don't know how much y'all follow New Japan, but what about Shibata maybe being done, his career being over after that shoot headbutt he gave Okada a couple weeks ago? It's pretty brutal.
No, I didn't hear anything about that.
No, I didn't see it, but I did hear that. Yeah, that's crazy, man. I don't know, man.
I actually sat and watched the match. I mean, dude is so good. I mean, my opinion, I thought the match was better than Omega and Okada, just because it was, you know, it was a totally different match. You know, a lot of hard strikes and stuff. And then the headbutt, he butts himself open with it. You could tell after the headbutt, he just wasn't the same. He was kind of glassy-eyed, and then apparently as soon as they got through the curtain, he collapsed. And he went to the hospital that evening, and they did some kind of surgery. I'm not real sure what kind of surgery it was. You know, it just makes me feel how all the Dan see me do it, you see me do it, all these shoot headbutts I've done in the last 10 years, probably 1,000 of them, how I'm still fucking standing.
Yeah, you got a hard fucking head, but Shibata does too, so, you know, you watch that shit. But, yeah, that's terrible, man. You know, that guy was over, and, damn, that sucks.
I mean, hopefully it's just, you know, some people think it might be a storyline, bring him back for, like, the big Tokyo Dome show, because he did so good in the match. It was just like he was over, then that match made him even more over. But I hope, you know, his career isn't over, because I like to watch him work. I think he's really fucking good.
Yeah, well, if it isn't part of the angle, you know, get well wishes to Shibata.
Yeah.
So fuck, then, yeah, that's, well, not to go out on a bummer. Had a good weekend in Cornelia this weekend. Tank's big response to Brad Cash aired. A lot of people are getting hyped about that inevitable confrontation, which is going to be coming soon down the road. I feel like, you know, you told him not to come back. He says he's coming back to be in Seven's Corner on May 13th, and he's got a response. So we're going to see where this thing goes. You know, it's definitely going to be brutal.
Well, I got him in New Jersey, so he may not even make it. He may not even make it back to Cornelia on May 13th. So,
well, damn, film the match at least so we can close circuit it to the audience.
Live from wherever we are in New Jersey, Williamstown. That's the name of the place. I don't know what the fucking place is. I just know I got an early ass flight.
So, yeah, but, you know, had a great event on April 8th and April 22nd. Things are really lining up. I'm not going to go blow by blow on the results like I normally do, because you can catch it all by subscribing to powerbomb.tv. That's right. My long, empty promises have finally been fulfilled. We have video content, and it's up and running. Archives going all the way back to Fright Night of 2016. And gonna, you know, work on getting some more archive footage on there. But right now we are rocking and rolling for each event. The April 8th event just went up on there, and the April 22nd event will be on probably this weekend, I'd imagine, or next weekend at the latest. So
hey, Kyle told me fucking Ron Vega pissed in the ring. What happened?
He certainly did. What is now being called the Ryan Vega incident. This guy showed up immediately causing trouble. You know, he debuted with all of this hype. You know, for weeks, Ryan Vega videos played about how he was coming and, you know, this crazy character. So he debuts against a young up-and-coming prospect named AJ Gray, who, you know, he travels all over, does IWA Mid-South and CZW, and, you know, he's just a guy who wants to get out to all the major areas. So he wanted to come and see what the church, the Landmark Arena, was all about. And he had a couple good matches, but he was never able to secure that big win. Well, he pulled the upset against Vega, who had all the hype, and AJ Gray pulled out a shocking victory on the debuting Ryan Vega, who threw then the temper tantrum to end all temper tantrums. Security came out, told him he had to leave. He left. He came back out as Michael Gentry was about to announce the next match. And they threatened to remove him again, and he said, "No, I'm not leaving. And if you try to remove me, I am going to piss on you." And no one believed him until he started unzipping his pants, and then everybody ran for their life, including our poor ring announcer, my broadcast partner, one Michael Gentry, who tripped on the bottom rope as he was trying to escape and felt the wrath of Vega's live pissing. And he urinated on the man. Yes, he urinated on the ring announcer to create a memorable debut that no one in the Landmark Arena will forget, and he followed that up by facing AJ Gray in the rematch this past Saturday night. Gray came back out and said he was disgusted by that ridiculous behavior. There were kids out here. He wanted him again in 2 weeks, and he wanted to whip his ass. And he certainly put a beating on Vega. He whipped his ass from pillar to post. But Vega, being the ever-crafty, maniacal dude that he is, snagged a pen off the announcer's table, stuck it in his pocket, and as Gray was about to polish him off, he pulled that pen out and jabbed him right in the fucking eye like the Sheik and stole the victory. So this Vega, what a character.
Well, on one hand, that sounds disgusting. It sounds like a bunch of bullshit, and Ron Vega's a little asshole like he always has been. On the other hand, that's how you make a name for yourself, and that shit sounds amazing. And I'm sure somewhere there's somebody that put a lot of time into Ron Vega when he was getting going and getting started, who's probably very proud to hear that stuff.
Fantastic.
Oh, yeah.
He pissed on a motherfucker. That is something there.
It's one way to not be forgotten, and that he did. And Jacob Ashworth successfully retained the title against Gunnar Miller in a huge rematch, which featured, of course, Gunnar Miller's new allies, Team Tag, trying to interject themselves, and then the Hate Junkies got involved to try to even the odds. And the returning from injury Gladiator Jeremiah, finally, which was one of the greatest things I've seen in a minute. Billy Buck is in the ring. The Hate Junkies and the other two Team Tag are brawling on the outside. Refs with them. And Gunnar and Jacob both down in the ring. Billy Buck slides in, starts tuning up the band for the old the buckshot super kick. Lights go out. Lights come back on. Gladiator Jeremiah is in the ring. Billy goes to super kick him. He pulls up the shield and blocks the super kick with the shield. And Billy starts hopping around on one leg. And then Jeremiah tosses him. Gunner pops up and tosses Jeremiah. And Jacob snuck up and got the roll up. 1, 2, 3. So, huge event. Then that turned into a big brawl. So on May 13th, we're having an 8-man tag. The Hate Junkies, Gladiator Jeremiah, and the Anarchy champion Jacob Ashworth against Gunnar Miller and all 3 members of Team Tag in a huge main event. May 13th.
So in this war, it's 8 guys, 4-on-4?
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
Oh, but it's about to get even more interesting, and that's all I'm going to say. We got inside information, of course. Church Southern Wrestling, the landmark arena where you need to be, second and fourth Saturdays of each month. You see the Tank Farewell Tour as it plays out towards Hostile Environment on June 24th. So definitely want to check that out. All on social media, facebook.com/Anarchy Wrestling, on Twitter, Anarchy Landmark, and also on Instagram, Anarchy in Cornelia is the name. So give us a follow, subscribe on powerbomb.tv. It's $9.99 a month. You get content, not just from Anarchy Wrestling promotions all over the world. Some great uncopyrighted wrestling catalogs from all throughout wrestling history, including a bunch of modern stuff, all on there. $10 a month. You can't beat it. You get a free 10-day trial just for signing up. Go over to powerbomb.tv, and you can also get these events from Anarchy on DVD at the live events, or if you want a copy for yourself, message us on Facebook. Follow me on Twitter at Dragons Rejects. Folks, we are out of time. Guys, Andrew Alexander, you want to any final plugs of where they won't see you?
You won't see me at Hostile Environment, or will you?
Oh, don't tease me like that. Tank, give them some plugs.
Oh, yeah, we got, of course, Carnage Cup this weekend, the Survival of the Sickest tournament, May 6th in New Jersey. I will be at AWE next Monday night for Homegrown 17. And then if you go to Phillips Arena Thursday night, you will see me and Andrew Alexander jamming out to Tom Petty and Joe Walsh. So,
how the fuck
yeah.
did you get Tom Petty tickets,
Hey.
you motherfucker?
Yeah, I forgot about that shit during the podcast. That's gonna be a good time.
Yeah, anybody
Last
that shit like
Layne.
goddamn like last August.
Oh, damn it. I'm so jealous. Steady Layne, you got any final plugs before we get out of here?
ProWrestlingRadio.net, the Beyond Ringside Radio app for Amazon, Android, and BlackBerry. Catch live and pre-recorded program through the app, of course. You can find the Beyond Ringside channel on TuneIn Radio, as well as, right now there are 16 different ways to listen to the station as we come to you right now, either live or in replay. And, of course, be sure to subscribe on Potty Humor, as well on YouTube, as well as Beyond Ringside on YouTube.
So plenty of ways to find us. If you can't find us, you ain't looking.
Pretty much.
We'll be right back on here next Monday night, 9:30 p.m. Don't want to miss it. We will be off the following Monday, as I will be at the happiest place on earth, at the Magic Kingdom, enjoying my vacation. So if you guys don't want to do a show, that's fine by me. But I will be off the following Monday. Follow me on Twitter at Dragons Rejects. Follow me on Facebook at Rev Dan the Dragon Wilson. And you can email me if you want to pay me money to come do one of my various wrestling-related responsibilities or officiate your wedding at dragonsrejects@gmail.com. That's going to do it, folks.
I forgot. You just reminded me. I totally got booked as a wedding date.
As a date? You got booked as arm candy?
Yes, like specifically, like just not trying to date the girl and all that shit. Just like, hey, I need a wedding date. I think you would look good dressed up. What's up? I'm like, will I get food? Like, sure. And I said, will I get laid? And she's like, I don't know, maybe. And I'm like, well, I'm in.
And there's your teaser for the return of Fuck or Fail next week on the Midnight Black Mass. Don't you miss it, folks. We're out of time. Keep one foot in the gutter and one fist in the gold. We're out.